welcome back to the Leaders Lounge. We are in season 3. I am, of course, your hostess and curator, Dawn Marie Morris, and I have a special guest sitting next to me today who we are going to talk to in a few moments. Of course, Leaders Lounge, the Leaders Lounge is an outgrowth of the World Class Training Institute, which seeks to maximize human capital through the delivery of our leadership and professional development training programs. In addition, we have a book. Our latest book is Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership, which talks about all of the behaviors that great leaders demonstrate. Some of those we're going to talk about with our guest today. So you all can grab that book at worldclasstraining.net/agape. And for all of our leadership and professional development programs, you can find those on our site as well at worldclasstraining.net. Or I always say I answer the phone still. So our number is 615-716-9990. That's 615-716-9990. So I am actually in Dallas this week. And when you have to travel for work, sometimes you travel alone and then serendipity shows up. And when you're at dinner, you meet great people, especially if you sit at the bar. I recommend sitting at the bar. And so I ran into this gentleman, had never met him before, but he's out of Richmond, California. His name is Rodney Alamo Brown. And as he and I started chatting, I'm like, you somebody, right? I know you're somebody. And sure enough, he is somebody. In addition to being he's a mental health clinician, he is a journalist, and he is some other stuff. He used to be a rapper. Still a rapper?
No, ma'am.
No, okay, not a rapper anymore. He was a you never are unprofessional when you're a barber. He became a professional barber years ago. And the thing that we're going to talk about, because in our book we talk about being a relentless visionary, and great leaders have to be visionaries. And this gentleman was the visionary for something that is called Soulful Softball Sundays. I'm going to get that right. Soulful Softball Sundays. And he is the curator, he's the visionary, and he is the leader of Soulful. Why can I not get that?
It's a tongue twister. It takes a while.
Why do I keep on saying super? It's Soulful.
We're going to change it.
Soulful Softball Sunday.
Yeah.
Is it an annual event?
Yes, ma'am.
An annual event. And if you call me ma'am another time, I'm gonna take you off the show.
Okay.
They do that though in Nashville. They do. Yeah, you're not even from the South. I respect.
I call children ma'am.
Sorry.
Out of respect.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna let them call me ma'am for one more second, but you can call me Dawn. Okay. It's such a pleasure to have you here, Mr. Rodney Alamo Brown.
Yes.
Rodney Alamo. So before we ever get into this Soulful Softball Sunday, tell me why you came up with the name Alamo.
Well, I used to rap. I was a rapper. In 1982, I began, and my name, I just happened to give myself a name, Disco Alamo.
Okay.
So I kind of eliminated the disco part and just kept the Alamo.
But why Alamo?
I don't know. I just made it up. I just came up with this name, Alamo. I was looking at a map and it's in San Antonio, Texas, and that's the nickname for San Antonio, Texas, the Alamo.
Okay,
and so I did some research on Davy Crockett and what was going on during that time period.
Right.
And I liked what I read, so I was like, that's a different name.
Yeah.
That's how it came.
Interesting, because I was actually doing some research on Alamo today as well. I was like, let me see. And I even saw that it was a chat. It was also, that the big war that happened down in San Antonio at that time. And, there's always the phrasing, remember the Alamo.
Yep.
And so, I was like, I got to definitely find out why he came up with that name.
That's how it was born.
So that's how it was born. So, okay, Disco Alamo to Alamo.
To Alamo.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So now, Rodney. So do people call you Rodney or Alamo? Alamo. Okay. So Sir Alamo.
Okay.
No, just
Thank
Alamo.
You, ma'am Don.
So Alamo, talk to me a little bit. You've done so many things in your short life. Like I was sharing, you've been a mental health clinician, you've been a barber, you've been a rapper. You had this brilliant idea to come up with Soulful Softball Sundays, which is an annual event. Share with everyone a little bit about the impetus behind you coming up with this idea. Why?
Well, for starters, I'm an avid softball player. I've been playing for 38 years now.
Okay.
And the ideology was to bring warring factions from Richmond together.
Okay.
So I had this grandiose idea, and I said, what better way can we kind of decrease the killings in the city and bring young folk who are involved in the carnage together for a day of softball, laughter, and fun.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, most people who are administrators and the powers that be, the power brokers, stakeholders, thought it was a foolish idea to try to engage because they had this thing called a confused war.
Okay.
And in this confused war, in a 14-year period, it's killed 457 young men between the ages of 18 and 27.
Confused war. So is that limited to the West Coast? Or?
Well, it was just limited to that city. They titled it the Confused War because nobody knew what they were warring about.
Okay.
So the legend has it that it was over a car accident that had taken place.
Okay.
So that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
However, it stemmed from that allegedly, and then it just boiled over out of control.
Gotcha.
Where you have people from North Richmond, South Richmond, and Central Richmond, respectively, that were warring with each other during this time period from 2004 to 2014.
Okay.
So it's ceased, but there's still little pockets of it.
Okay.
So what I said was, well, why not?
So the Confused War was limited to the Richmond, California area.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes,
okay.
yes,
got it. Okay.
And so my whole ideology was like, well, they got programs to try to stem the tide.
Right.
And this didn't cost anything to do.
Sure, right.
It was a revolutionary idea. My mother was in the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
Okay.
So I was around the likes of Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Elaine Brown, Eldridge Cleaver, folks of that magnitude.
Right.
And I said, well, let me take a page out of their book and bring folks together. So when they started the Panthers, they had the Panthers from all different parts of Oakland.
Okay.
West Oakland, North Oakland, and East Oakland.
Right.
And they were able to revolutionize and bring people together for the common good of mankind.
Okay.
So if they could do it, I could do it.
Then you could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to have a lot of buy-in from the citizens.
Right.
We started July 19th, 2015.
Okay.
There were 50
I'm going to pause you for just a moment. Because before I get into that, the whole planning part, you just said something that I want the audience to know. So you mentioned the Black Panther Party and how you knew about that. And you shared with me, too, that your mom was one of the founding members?
No, she was a
charter member. She was a charter member of the Black Panther Party. So with you knowing about that and you, I guess, when you were growing up, you kind of were around that whole... Okay, ideology. So by you seeing how they set that up and how your mom was a charter member, that kind of led you to say, well, let me use some of these nuggets.
That's correct.
That you saw them use in order to start this. And what were some of the key kind of components of what you saw or witnessed with the Black Panther Party that helped you as you went about starting Soulful Softball Sunday?
I'm glad you asked those questions because I seen the breakfast program get instituted.
Okay.
Of course, the Panthers were very, very keen on health. So they set up these health clinics throughout the continental United States of America. As the party began to grow, it began to get different people from different cities within the sector of the United States of America.
Okay.
And so watching those things manifest and happen as a young person, it taught me primarily how to do community capacity building.
Organize.
That's
community organizing. Okay, very nice. Okay. And so now going forward, taking that next step, you said you gathered people and you said the first meeting was 50. So in using that kind of community organizing ideology, how were you able to bring the 50? Because again, we're talking about people who don't necessarily get along well, right?
Correct.
And so what was it that you either said, did, communicated, whatever? What was the thing or things, what were the things that you think were most beneficial in you being able to get the right people in the room?
I think what transpired, me being a barber for 30 years, 27 years, I'm sorry, in Richmond, California, I could have 17 years in Richmond and then 10 years in Hawaii.
Okay.
And I think being a pillar within the sector of the city allowed me to garner folk
Okay.
to come partake in what we were doing, or
Okay.
what I was intending for us to do.
So you had been planting seeds and didn't even know it.
No, I
Isn't
had
that
no
something?
idea.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I tell people often that, do the work and do good work. And whenever you show up, if you're going to give it anything, give it all you've got, because you never know when you're going to either be able to pluck off that tree that you've been building, or you're going to be able to spread more good seeds based on what you've already cultivated over a period of time. So yeah, that's very good. So go ahead.
So I primarily believe in exactly what you said, that cultivating or planting those seeds and then cultivating them later on, letting them germinate, allowed me to do such event.
Okay.
So the first day we started with 50 people.
Okay.
And then we did it 8 continuous weeks. And so that led almost into September of 2015.
So you all met for 8 weeks.
We met for 8 weeks. Every Sunday.
Okay. Every Sunday. Okay. Okay.
And so that allowed folk to say, "Hey, the coast is clear. It's cool. Y'all come on. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna barbecue. And we're gonna play softball. We're gonna listen to music from the 70s.
Okay.
It's gonna be a reunion of sorts." Reconciliation and atonement was huge. That was a vital part of it. When you gathering folk who necessarily don't get along with each other, or had some type of feud prior to that, the hardest thing was to get them to see that, hey, we're not going to be here for any other than what we intend to do.
Okay.
So they start buying in.
So what's the first meeting about having the event, or was the first meeting about just, hey, y'all, let's all come together and see if we can all get along?
That's what it was exactly about. So
I
put it on Facebook, put out the calling card. We're going to be doing this on this particular day at this particular time. And at first, I got kind of a little bewildered about it, because the first hour, nobody really came. So I was like, oh, maybe this wasn't a good idea. And then, we always come late. The majority of us always come late for stuff, right? I had to charge it to the CPT.
Right.
And I said, well, they'll be here. Have some faith. We talked about the
lean in
reservoir,
just a little bit.
The reservoir, having faith.
Okay.
So what I did was I said, well, we'll just wait. And then they start showing up. And so when they began to come, it spread a whole bunch of love. That's what it was primarily situated around, was just primary love.
You know what that reminds me of? The movie Soul Food.
Well, you're smart. Can I tell you what happened?
What?
I don't know if you can read minds or if you can just tell the future.
Okay.
You're 100% correct. So what I did as an avid softball player, I was watching TV.
Okay.
And I was watching Soul Food.
Okay.
And so God gave me this idea. He said, why don't you go gather the masses?
Is that amazing?
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Make soul food, and then of course do it on Sunday, because Sunday is when the spirit is most high. And so I used all those connotations and brought them together.
Yes.
And I said, we may be cooking with something.
Okay.
And that's how the recipe began to manifest.
Now, isn't that something? And so now, what made it go week after week after week? Because usually, we eat, we're cool, but
it's one word.
What?
Consistency. And we talked about the word
consistency.
talked about
consistency yesterday.
Being consistent with folk, again, who probably wouldn't partake in a festivity like that,
right?
Allow them to see, hey, this is real,
right?
This is tangible,
right?
We can come to this safe haven, this safe space,
right?
And there's no problems, no police there, just nothing going on. Right? Just fundamental agape.
Agape, exactly. That's right.
That's what it was.
There you go. You heard what he just said, and that's what, as you were saying that, that really is where my mind went to, because it was about it's really selfless, sacrificial, care and concern for others. Not a warning, not a quid pro quo, right? Not a, hey, I gave this to you, so I want this back next week. But you, from a real place, a genuine place of love for your community and the people in your community, you said, hey, let's get together. Let's get together and let's see what we can do if we just decide to love.
Yes.
Oh, the power of that.
Yes.
The power of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're all coming together. Y'all tracking with us? So idea hits, which I always say, and when you have an idea, you cannot be afraid of the possibility that it doesn't work. That's the worst case scenario. But the best case scenario, and what happened in your case, is it actually did work. So sometimes And I've had that happen too, where if I had an idea and, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be great. And it didn't necessarily work out so great, but all I had was a lesson, right?
That's
All I
it.
had was a lesson. Okay.
That's it.
Can't do it like that. I got to switch it around. I got to do it a different way. But when an
Sure
idea hit, just like when I was talking to you yesterday, the idea hit me and it's like, okay, I got to talk to you. Let's just do it right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait till we go back to Richmond or you go to Richmond, I go back to Nashville.
Right.
Let's do it now. You have to, as leaders, think about, and I'm not saying do it haphazardly, because you do have to have a plan in place. But when, and I believe in God, so I'm like, but when He tells me, when He gives me my yes, I'm moving that yes. And then I start putting plans into place. So it sounds like you do something similar.
Yeah.
Good.
That's all you need is one yes.
Yeah.
You can have 1,000 no's.
No.
If you get one yes, you can just run right through where that yes is, and then things will begin to manifest.
That's
as you
the
said.
whole word.
You can twerk things, and tweak things, and make it to your specification.
Yep.
But I think ideally, you have to start somewhere,
Exactly.
and every thought can be manifested into an action.
Right. That's absolutely right. You are so right. So now we're meeting. We're coming here for 8 weeks, and everybody is getting along. So how did it turn into Soulful Softball Sunday?
So again, the movie Soul Food.
Okay.
Every human being has a soul.
Right.
And that soul has a meaning, which means it's soulful.
Okay.
And then, of course, softball, as being an avid softball player,
right,
that manifested to that. And
Okay.
then Sunday, we do it on Sundays only,
Okay.
again, when the spirit is most high.
Okay. So did you tell that group of people, hey, I got this idea now that we should have this annual event, or did you start coming up with it? Or did you always know when you started the coming together that ultimately you wanted that to be the outcome?
Yeah, that was primarily it. So,
Okay.
so to, they say if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And then building it, and after the 8-week period, which was very tiresome, it was hard to do.
I bet it was.
It was difficult
Right.
to do. And I said, we can't do this every summer.
Right.
We should just manifest it down to just one annual event per year.
Okay.
So that built it up. Everybody was like, oh, we can't wait. It's like a birthday party.
Oh,
We know what's
okay.
going to be going on.
Right.
We can't wait. Once we began to actually put that into perspective, then folk was like putting it on the calendar.
Okay.
We know
Got
it's
it.
coming the fourth Sunday
Right.
of every August. So people from out of state, they begin to come. Yeah.
Really?
Who used to live in Richmond?
Yes.
Oh, it's become like a household thing now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like going to the concert.
Okay. And I heard, so Rodney recently won the 2025 Humanitarian Award in Richmond. And I heard the gentleman who was presenting to you say that, he comes almost every year to it. Because it's been since, what, 2015?
2015, yes.
2015. So today, this is the 10th year anniversary.
10th anniversary.
Oh, my goodness. Are you planning
this year's
something
going to
big?
be 11th.
11th. Okay.
Last year was the 10th.
Oh, okay. Did you guys do something bigger?
We normally do.
Okay.
We just gave out some commemorative T-shirts
Okay.
that had the 10th anniversary logo on the side of the T-shirt.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's so exciting. So did you know people could play softball? Is that a thing in California that they play softball more than anything? Okay, got it.
I wouldn't say more than any sport, but softball is huge on the West Coast.
Got it.
And what we did was, after we put the guys together from different neighborhoods, I began to expand it.
Okay.
So I got brothers from Los Angeles to come down.
Okay.
I got brothers from San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, Marin City,
Okay.
Sacramento, Vallejo,
Okay.
Stockton, different places within the sector of the Bay Area. I began to invite.
Right.
So the thing is, people from these particular cities never got along. They were almost like warring factions as well. So to do that, again, using the revolutionary pedagogies and methodologies, I began to say, well, they bleed like we bleed.
Right.
They feel like we feel.
That's right.
They hurt as I hurt.
That's
Their
right.
pain is our pain.
That's right. Yeah.
And then people begin to see themselves
Right.
identical,
Right.
instead of seeing themselves as something different.
Right. Don't rest on the differences, rest on the similarities,
There you
right?
go.
And let that drive the work. Yeah. And the other thing that I'm hearing that from what you just outlined is the power of relationship.
Yes.
Right? I mean, kind of similar to the seeds we were talking about earlier that you planted that brought that 50 together. By you being able to be a relationship builder, you were able to expand even outside of your immediate community.
Yes.
And your word carried weight. Hey, got some people from San Francisco to come. You got some people from some other cities to come, because more than anything, they trust you.
Yes.
Right? And a great leader has to be trusted.
Yes, ma'am.
And they have to be credible. Their word needs to mean something.
But I, and this may sound kind of funny or cliche.
Uh-huh.
I don't use the word leader, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
I use the word servant more than I do that, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So when we talked about this yesterday, when you have people who are in positions, some folks are going to try to tear you down, they'll try to build you down. And so my whole ideology is, hey, I'm a servant of the Lord.
Yes.
So when you're doing the Lord's will or the Lord's work, He's going to manifest that everything that you need is going to come to fruition.
Everything.
So that's
right.
why I say I'm a servant.
And that's true. And I think that's a great way to look at it, because if you look at it from the standpoint of being a servant, then when people come to you and they need things from you, or they ask you for advice, or I just did a quote about, I think it was Colin Powell, who said that leaders are problem solvers.
Yeah.
So if you are, though, in the business of serving others, that doesn't bother you, because you know that I'm here to make somebody's life better by my presence.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And sometimes people think when they're a leader, oh, y'all just come follow me. No. I'm here.
No, you walk beside them.
I walk beside
hold
you.
their hands.
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
Because of course you got to be the first partaker of the fruit.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Right.
But
That's
when
right.
they see you walking with them,
that's right.
and not backing them,
Exactly.
Them,
that's right.
Then their response is totally different.
Different. That's right. So totally different. So Rodney, and we gotta what is this thing you got me going to? The East-West game today. So is that what it's called?
East-West Shrine Game.
East-West Shrine Game.
Yes.
Okay, so we're headed to that in a moment. So he got me interested in this game, so I bought a ticket, so I can't be late. And he came. I think you working, right?
I'm working.
He's correct. Working at it. So we're not going to stay on this too long, but I definitely wanted to bring him in and have this conversation, because he's just, just inspired me. Because again, it's not easy to bring people together, and it's definitely not easy to bring people together who believe they don't like each other, but then you figure out, well, why did I even, have you ever not like somebody? Like, why did I even not like them? I didn't even know them, right? I didn't even, but because of what I heard, or because we're not part of the same set, or whatever it is,
then may have been a lie, what you heard.
It could have been a lie, exactly, right. So, Rodney, just share before we wrap up right quickly, some of, as you're looking back over the last 10 years and entering into the 11th year, share with everybody some of kind of the key moments or key ideals that reside with you as a result of walking this path and building this tremendous event, this annual event.
Well, we do scholarship awards. We award scholarships. I also honor people who's come from our community that have done magnificent work, miraculous work, whether alive or deceased. And so each year we honor 10 people. Every single year.
Very nice.
So over 100 folks have been honored at Soulful Softball Sundays.
That is
fantastic.
I think,
and it's truly important. We talked about shared humanity.
Right.
Celebrating shared humanity.
Yes.
I always want to give people their flowers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Here, right. Unfortunately, some folk have passed away.
Yes.
And I didn't get that opportunity. But their family members come out.
Sure.
And they feel so happy that somebody at least acknowledged the wonderful works that they've done.
Absolutely.
And I think those are the major highlights of what I do with Soulful Softball Sunday.
Right.
Again, it's become a pageantry of sorts.
Sure.
Not just softball.
Yeah.
Softball is one of the key elements.
Is it just a one-day game?
It's one day.
One-day game. Okay.
So we start at 8 a.m. and we last all the way until 7 p.m.
Oh.
Then I got to send folk home.
Oh, right.
You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
You cannot stay.
Yeah, I don't care where you go, but you can't stay here.
Right.
Get the hell out of here. So, but that's the great part of it, because cohesively, we brought all these folk together who normally wouldn't speak to each other, wouldn't say anything to each other. We've even taken folk, I've done this before, on the bus to the snow.
Okay.
And what I would do is, it would be the grieving mothers of the children that lost their lives.
Right,
their children's lives.
Okay.
And so, of course, another revolutionary idea.
Yep.
What better way to put somebody on the bus for 3.5 hours and let them sit next to the person who may have killed their child? Because in any instances, they wouldn't speak to each other.
Right.
On the streets, they would probably go the opposite direction.
Right.
Or maybe be confrontational.
Right. That's true.
However, what I said was, well, we're going to a place, an enclave, where the weather is so climactic, where the energy is so real.
Right.
And so I put the kids on one side and the parents on the other side.
Right.
Of
Right.
course, the kids speak faster than the
Exactly.
parents.
Right.
The whole idea is to let the parents see the children
Okay.
who don't know each other
Okay.
speak to each other,
Yeah.
have communion with each other.
Right.
And
Right.
then, of course, they begin to talk.
Right.
So that's part of the reconciliation atonement. Now, this don't cost $1 million to do.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't have to go get a
No.
nonprofit to
Right.
do this.
Right.
I
Right.
use the same methodology that I do with my everyday life
Oh.
as working as a mental health clinician,
Yep.
working with people, with human beings, showing them how they still can become as one.
I want you to say that again, because what you just outlined, sometimes people think, in order for me to do this, I got to go get some money from here. I got to go get a grant. I got to go get all of this. And that becomes
Yeah.
the paralyzing factor, right?
Yeah.
What he just said is that he didn't do all of that. He used what he had to make what he needed. And a lot of times we have to do that. Start where you are with what you have, and God will add the increase. He adds the increase. Yeah. So, two other things. So you mentioned that, you all have been able to recognize people. On our cover, and I'm going to show it again just right quickly. Let me stop this for a moment. He was recently recognized. You can't necessarily see the player there, but he's at the A's game,
Yeah.
and you were able to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. So talk to us about that. And that's because you see there he has on his Soulful Softball Sunday shirt. So talk to us about that amazing opportunity and what it was like for you, and why that was so meaningful. We know why, but you share with your own words.
Well, to start, I always thought people who were dignitaries or
Yes.
celebrities would always start the ceremony first
Sure.
pitch. So when I was invited to do it, I thought it was a joke.
Okay.
I thought it was like, oh, they just playing with me. It's not
Right.
going to manifest.
Right.
That particular day was May 8th, 2024. I'll never forget it.
Okay.
That was the most nervous day I've ever had in my entire existence.
The day you threw the pitch
The day I
out.
threw that pitch out.
Okay.
As I was walking up to the mound, of course, you hear the PA announcer saying this
Yeah.
is such and such, such and such. And then after that, it was a deafening silence.
Okay.
I didn't hear anything for the next 2 minutes that was occurring.
Mm.
I couldn't hear the fans. I couldn't hear nobody talk.
Right.
It was almost like a surreal moment.
Okay.
Out of body experience.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, after I threw it, the nerves went away. And
Yeah.
Back to calmness because
Right.
I didn't want to mess up.
Yeah. Right.
I've
Right.
got all these people at the game, and if I don't do this right,
Yeah.
this is my
This
legacy.
can be
It's
exactly
my
right.
legacy.
Exactly.
Like you can go back to the archives and put this out and say, "Oh, look at what he
Look
did.
at him.
He messed up
Threw the
versus 50
ball and it
Cent."
just right.
Exactly. So I didn't want to be a 50 center.
Okay.
That was my
Okay.
whole
You said
ideology.
you're not gonna-
To not be a 50 center. No, ma'am. Nope.
Okay, so you walk up there, it's out of body. Come on and lean in a little bit more so people can see you. Okay, so out of body, you get to the mound, you got now do they hand you the ball or do
Yes,
you okay, so they hand you the ball before you even walk to the
Yes.
pitcher's mound.
Yes.
Okay, they give you the ball, shake your hand, say, hey, go ahead, throw it, and then you threw it. And I saw the video, so you were happy with the pitch.
Yeah.
Right. You were happy with the pitch.
I was elated with the
You were
pitch.
happy with
I
the
was
pitch.
relieved.
Yes. So when they called you and said, hey, we want you to do this, how did that even come about?
So I was in 2022, I was the Oakland A's champion, community champion.
Okay.
So throughout the whole Bay Area,
Right.
they find people or they select people who have done revolutionary work,
Okay.
humanitarianism work.
Yes.
And they selected me to be that particular person.
2 years
prior.
Okay.
Mhm.
Did they tell you it was going to be 2024 when it would happen? Or
No, I didn't know anything
Okay.
about the ceremony. First pitch thing. That was a surprise. So they sent me an email and then they called me. That's how I
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Got it. Well, congratulations on
Thank
all
you.
that you've done. Before we wrap up, just share one challenge with people that the biggest challenge you've overcome in putting all of this together. Because we know, as much as we've talked about the celebrations, it's not easy bringing folks together, right? And it's surely not easy to do it 10 years in a row, going into your 11th year. Biggest challenge and how you've overcome it.
The biggest challenge I had was from the city of Richmond. They was having a difficult time getting the fields in order.
The fields, the baseball.
The
Okay.
And they gave me a very hard time. They took me through the ringer and they put me through all these ropes and hoops and stuff that I had to go through.
They
And here
didn't
I
want
am.
to prepare the field,
They
or
didn't.
was it licensed?
They
They didn't want to
didn't.
prepare the field for you.
No. So the field is never played on. They play youth baseball. And then after that, it just sits dry. Nobody does anything. So going out there surveying the field I said, man, this is very dangerous. Somebody could get hurt
Right.
playing on the surface. You
Yeah.
guys need to do the groundwork
Right.
and do everything they need to
Right.
get the field back in its proper perspective.
Right.
Well, they didn't want to do it. I had to go through the mayor. Yeah, I had to do a whole bunch of stuff. I went to the county supervisor.
Now, what year was this?
This was
at the
just
beginning?
last year.
Just last year?
Just last year.
Even after you've been doing it for so many years?
Exactly. I had to get on it. So this thing called social media really works, and I don't like to embarrass people, but I had to tell the people how the city of Richmond was conducting their business with folk who are bringing events to the city.
Right.
And so,
because people pay for this, correct?
No, it's free. It's free.
Okay. Oh.
We don't charge nobody anything. When we go on our trips with the families, we don't charge them not $1.
Oh, so how is it funded?
We have private donors.
Oh,
yeah,
very nice. Okay,
Yeah.
very nice. Okay, so the people, but that's still, money coming in. Does Richmond get any of that money or no?
No.
Oh, that may be why they didn't want to contribute.
Well,
but it's still a good look for the city because you still got people. And you got people who are tourists. I mean, I may come one year. Who knows? Where I never would have come to Richmond had I not known about this event. So
Case in point.
Right. It still puts Richmond on the map in a good way.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So so you put it on social media, and then Richmond responded.
They responded. The city responded. We'll be there with a whole crew on Monday. So this was Friday.
Okay.
Monday rolled around, all men on deck. And they was out there from sun up to sundown, working on that field. So sometimes you got to rise up. Yeah, sometimes you have to be adamant about things to make it work. And you said it best. You said, you guys are doing the city a justice.
Right, that's right.
Like we're putting this really, really great event together.
Right.
For the sake of the city. You guys are going to benefit as well.
Exactly. That's right.
So
because that's tourism dollars, perhaps. Yeah. Like you said, some people come from who used to live there out of town. They're like, hey, this is soulful soccer, soulful softball Sunday.
You got it. You hit it right on the nose.
Yeah. So absolutely. So good. So they showed up and got their stuff together. Very good. Yeah. Well, congratulations again to you. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to me today. I wish you nothing but all of life's continued blessings for you and your family. All right.
You too.
And for everybody else, of course, this is the Leaders Lounge. We will be back next week. We are back in the saddle at the beginning of our 3rd season. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel. Remember again to pick up Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership at worldclasstraining.net/agape, AGAPE. Pick that up so that you can also become like Rodney, be like Alamo, right? And be a servant. And be a servant. So that's it for us for today. And just always remember at the World Class Training Institute, when you are better, we are absolutely better. Take care.
Aloha.